Hello friends, I hope you all are well and keeping safe. As I said in my last video, these days I'm doing a lot of reading around history, specifically around World War II. And while I do my reading, I coldly focus on finding nuggets about the immense contribution done by women during the World War II time period. So I came across this book, Behind the Enemy Lines. This book is about a courageous woman with the name Martha Cohn. Martha Cohn and her family went through a lot during the German occupation of the French territory. She was from France, she was a Jew, and she went through a lot of atrocities, mentally as well as physically. And this book talks about her childhood days to her teenager days to the time she was fighting back and giving back to the society by becoming a spy for the Allied forces. While the book talks about a courageous story and a heartfelt story about Martha Cohn, this video, I'm more so going to talk about the three lessons I have learned, which I'm sure is going to stay with me for a long period of time. So here I go. I'm going to talk about it. I hope you like what you hear. And if you do so, please share it with your friends and leave your comments behind in the comment box. The first lesson I learned is that it is very difficult to comprehend the gravity of a situation unless and until you're in the middle of it. Martha Cohn and her family were living in a city with the name Poitiers. Germans were still not there yet, and they were hearing about all of the different difficulties the Jews were having in the French territory and otherwise. They were reading in newspapers, they were listening about these stories from a hearsay, from word of mouth, but they never comprehended that situation that well because Germans were still not there. And even if the soldiers were there, they were more like French soldiers who are like occupied by Germans, were working for Germans at that particular period of time. But then one day, she and her sister were walking towards a shop to open the shop in the morning, and they took a detour as her sister wanted to go to the train station for some work. Mind you, at that point in time, people were getting a lot of anxiety in terms of, especially the Jews were getting a lot of anxieties about Germans coming to their city. So the people around Poitiers were trying to take the train to go further south, where it was safe to be out of the clutches of the Nazi Germans. So the train stations were crowded, and at that point in time, Germans thought of bombing the train station. This is the first time their friends at that point in time in the war, Italy was having their planes flying over, the bombers flying over Poitiers to bomb the train station. So, and they dropped their first bomb in their city, which have never seen any kind of war-based crime. Martha was taken aback. She thought she has lost her sister. She was running helter-skelter. She ran everywhere, never told her family first, just to make sure that she can find her sister first before she can announce. And at the end, her sister was safe. She took shelter at the right time. But that point in time, for the first time, she saw the impact of a war on her and her family. And that's where I learned my first lesson, that while she was always in the middle of the war, France was in the middle of the war, but the city was not. So she was not able to comprehend the situation that well. But when it happened in Poitiers, as I said before in the video, it kind of sunk in within her, and she knew that she has to do something very soon before the Nazi German comes and attack the city as well. That was my first lessons learned. The second lesson that I learned is that humanity trumps all. Just to let you know, as people are getting more nervous about the Nazi German occupied French territory, people are moving towards the south. There was an imaginary line drawn. The south of France is where the Germans were not going to go, and it was kind of a safe place to be in. But going there was not easy because the Nazi German never wanted the citizens to go like there's exodus from the northern side of the France to the southern side of the France. But it was very difficult to control the border. The borders were very porous. Their soldiers were more busy in occupying territory and fighting wars. So what they did instead was that all the villagers which were on the border of the southern France or the northern France, from where you have to cross to go to the southern France, they told them that, look, we will reward you heavily if you can let us know people who are crossing, and if you can do so, we will give you money or other awards accordingly. Now, mind you, these peasants were very poor, and they became even more poorer because all of the crops and the grains they're yielding, the Germans were taking it all for them, for their soldiers, for their people. They were all getting either shipped to Germany or to the people who are occupying their territory. So they were literally having no money on them, and their only source of income at that point in time is by reporting. Now, fast forward when Martha learned that it is not safe to stay in Pauzi, the city she was in anymore, she decided to go and cross to the other side of France, the southern France. And while she was trying to do so, she and her mother and her sisters were crossing. She saw the peasants all around. They were all staring at them, looking at them, and she knew that any point in time they can go and inform the Gestapo and they can come and arrest them, and then they'll be in a dungeon forever. But none of those poor farmers went ahead and complained. And that's where there was an aha moment within me that despite they don't have money, despite this, by reporting they can get a lot of rewards which can help them to survive for another day, maybe few days, month or so. They did not go and report because humanity trumps all. They knew deep down in their heart that something was going wrong, and it is not wise to report about a poor family who are trying to cross border to protect themselves. There's a second lesson I learned. The third and the most critical lesson I learned amongst the all three is um, courage is very circumstantial. At certain point in time you can be very courageous, certain point in time you can be very scared too. You're very situationally driven. It could be the stage you are in, it could be the space you are in, it could be situation you are in. The same thing happened in this book as well. When later part of the book, as you will read through, you learn that she decides to become a spy, and she was trained and she was all ready to now be a spy for the Allied forces, and for that she was supposed to cross border to go into the German territory. That last leg when she was supposed to cross, she was lying on the ground waiting for the adequate time when the guards will turn their back towards her so that he can jump and cross away and can go to the other side of the fence. She could not do that, and for hours she was lying there just debating how she can get up on her feet and can cross the border. She finally did that after many hours, but that point in time she did it more for saving an embarrassment of going back to her troop by saying that I could not cross because of my fear than of anything else. At the same point in time, she showed a lot of courage in the later part when she was in German. She was nearly caught many times. She actually has reported many things for the Allied forces which really helped the war to progress in the favor of the Allied forces. And she once actually got a chance to come back. She has done well. Everyone recognized her work, but she again went back and did what she was doing, spying for the Allied forces. So she was courageous at that point in time, but in the beginning, she was having her doubts. And the same thing happens with us as well. At times, we are courageous, at times, we are not. It could be the age, the situation, the space, and the circumstances we are in. So never judge and never judge a person, and never always have a blanket approach that we could be always courageous. It could be a situation, and you have to see that what situation we are in so you can mold ourselves accordingly. Those are the three lessons I learned. I hope you like what you heard, and if you do so, please do share the videos with others, and always let me know your comments, your thoughts through the comment box, and I look forward to hearing from you accordingly. Thank you once again for listening. Take care. Bye for now.